When civilization pauses, survival becomes knowledge. On April 28, 2025, the lights went out. Not just a flicker, but a total blackout. Across Germany, metro lines ground to a halt. In Spain, taps ran dry. Supermarkets locked their doors, leaving shelves empty, and phone networks collapsed. Millions were left in silence, a darkness so absolute it felt almost alive. In that moment, survival wasn't about panic or hashtags. It was about knowing what to do when modern systems fail. This isn't fiction. This is a reality we could face tomorrow. But there is a blueprint for resilience, hidden in plain sight, and it comes from a time long before electricity, internet, and convenience. Welcome to the Middle Ages. If you value knowledge that saves lives, that gives you independence from fragile systems, like, share, comment, and subscribe to WARFRONT Survival. Hit that bell too, because the skills we explore here aren't just history, they're preparation for the real world. The Middle Ages are often misrepresented as dark, stagnant, and primitive. In truth, medieval communities mastered survival through systems that modern society forgot. They built homes that heated themselves, preserved food without electricity, purified water using living systems, and engineered tools so efficient they remain astonishing today. These weren't lucky accidents. They were deliberate, tested solutions honed over centuries that combined physics, biology, and human ingenuity. Masonry heaters, thermal batteries that outperform modern furnaces. Between 1300 and 1850, the Little Ice Age brought relentless cold, freezing rivers across Scandinavia and Russia, with temperatures plunging to -40 degrees. In those conditions, losing a fire meant death. Medieval families survived and even thrived thanks to the masonry heater, also known as a clefen. Unlike metal stoves, which burn quickly and send most heat up the chimney, masonry heaters store thermal energy in massive stone walls. Smoke was forced through winding channels, allowing the stones to absorb and retain heat. A single intense fire could warm a home for 12 to 24 hours. Modern efficiency tests reveal these systems could capture nearly 98% of the fire's energy, compared to 15% in a typical fireplace. Today, building codes prevent most homes from supporting these enormous, life-saving structures. Convenience replaced resilience. Gruben houses, using the earth as a furnace. During the Great Famine of 1317, communities faced starvation, flooding, and freezing winters. Those who survived best often lived in Gruben houses, which were these semi-subterranean structures dug right into the ground. The real genius of this design lies in the physics of the earth itself. Just 1 meter below the surface, the ground keeps a steady temperature of about 13 degrees Celsius or 55 degrees Fahrenheit, insulating the home against extreme cold. So, instead of burning excessive fuel to overcome a 40-degree gap, occupants only had to deal with a 7-degree difference. Now, modern zoning and moisture regulations tend to classify such homes as substandard, but, this approach actually allowed medieval families to survive years of famine and frost. Engineered thatch, high-performance roofs. Thatch roofs weren't just decoration, they were engineered insulation systems. Hollow reeds and straw stalks trap millions of microscopic air pockets, creating a thermal barrier with an R value that actually exceeds modern fiberglass insulation. Thatch breathes, letting moisture escape while still retaining heat, which prevents mould and creates a consistently warm environment. Modern replacements like asphalt shingles really lack this breathability and longevity. Thatch roofs could withstand violent storms, while mass-produced roofing often fails under the same conditions. The material was renewable, biodegradable, and highly effective, qualities that, unfortunately, modern construction has traded away for convenience and synthetic chemicals. Spiral staircases as defence. Medieval architects turned homes and castles into tools of survival. Spiral staircases, almost always twisting clockwise, gave defenders an upper hand. Right-handed attackers struggled to wield swords effectively in the cramped ascent, while defenders could descend with their full reach. Some castles even included uneven steps, making sure that intruders would stumble under low light, while defenders moved freely. Every curve, angle and dimension served a defensive purpose, showing that medieval survival went far beyond just fire, food and warmth. It was also woven right into the very design of the spaces themselves. So let's talk about how medieval people preserved their food, using eggs, ash and fermentation. They would store unwashed eggs, relying on the natural cuticle as a sort of microbial shield. This way, eggs could stay good for weeks or even months without any refrigeration. It's interesting, because modern supermarkets actually got rid of this method with their washing regulations. Now, when it came to meat, preservation often depended on wood ash. Since ash is alkaline, it killed bacteria and could keep meat safe for up to 3 weeks. And then there's fermentation, like garum, which was this really pungent fish sauce. It was actually banned by the church in some places, but it turned what would have been waste into concentrated nutrition and probiotics. This stuff fueled both armies and households. All in all, these methods took advantage of natural chemistry and biology, getting the job done without any electricity or synthetic additives. Fire security meant everything. Char cloth was at the heart of it. Fire was, well, life itself. Char cloth, made from carbonized linen, acted as the ultimate fire starter, catching even the faintest spark. Unlike modern lighters, char cloth could be dried, reused, and made from whatever materials were available. Losing fire meant losing warmth, cooking, and protection, so families carried this renewable fire right in their pockets. Today, fire regulations restrict making char cloth. But back then, medieval systems ensured fire was always reliable, controllable, and sustainable. Clothing that lasts generations. Now, that's something rare these days. Fulling wool produced fabric that was naturally water-resistant, windproof and durable for decades. Lanolin preserved the fibre and protected against rain. Modern textiles, stripped of these natural oils, tend to prioritize softness and cheap turnover over longevity. The medieval approach was, honestly, both functional and sustainable, crafting clothing built to last a lifetime. There are lessons from the past for modern survival, and they're more relevant than ever. The medieval world relied on nature's rhythms rather than artificial systems. They harnessed earth temperatures, biological shields, and chemical principles to survive and thrive. Modernity gave us comfort, but at the cost of resilience. Convenience replaced knowledge, leaving many unprepared for even brief disruptions. The lesson is, well, pretty clear. The tools we need for survival may already exist in the lessons of history. If you found value in these forgotten survival techniques, hit like, comment your favorite medieval trick, share this video with fellow history enthusiasts, and subscribe to WARFRONT Survival. Knowledge is a tool that never fails, and in a fragile world, it is the ultimate weapon. Stay prepared, stay resilient, and never let the lights dictate your survival.